Previously, I made a video explaining the importance of incomprehensible input in English learning. After getting many comments, I realized that many people misunderstood that I said incomprehensible input is everything. But that's not true. To gain English proficiency, you need to practice in various ways, and I recommended that beginners should start with around 80% incomprehensible input, not 100%, and 20% should be comprehensible input. Then as you progress, shift toward more and more comprehensible input. Hello everyone, I'm a student of Seogang University's English department. I began English learning about 5 years ago, and I transferred from Bucheon University to Seogang University after 2 years study, and now I'm focusing on practical English more than getting higher test scores. So now I'm here and I'm sharing my English journey on YouTube. So I already shared tips for how to get incomprehensible input. My advice was quite simple. Just watch what you are enjoying in your language. And please don't obsess over which content is the best. Just let your brain get used to the sound and rhythm of the language first. So the content is not that important. Then what's comprehensible input? Think of it this way. If English were like a building, incomprehensible input is the foundation, and you don't fully understand it, but it lays the ground for your brain to absorb sounds, patterns, and structure of the language. Then comes comprehensible input on the top of that, which stacks the building one story at a time. When you start learning, the foundation matters most, but later you focus on stacking, adding nuance, vocabulary, grammar, and cultural understandings. So simply say comprehensible input means that you should learn nuanced vocabulary, grammar, and the culture. Today, I want to share how I create comprehensible input for myself. So when you first hear the term comprehensible, you probably think of buying English textbooks written in Korean and study hard. Of course, that's better than just doing nothing. But my personal preference is quite different. I don't study hard, I practice really hard. When I try to get comprehensible input, I don't just rely on a Korean dictionary or subtitles. Instead, I turn to AI to make the incomprehensible input comprehensible input in English. It means I ask questions in English and get answers in English. Then the act of asking becomes part of my English training because you use English the whole time. If you haven't tried yet, you should try and see if you can have a chat with ChatGPT fully in English, because what AI says could be easier than you expect. But still, some of you are not able to do that because of the English proficiency. What you need to remember are just two simple sentences. First, please explain this more easily. And second, example sentences, please. If you do so, you could clearly feel the nuance and the usage in the context by the example sentences and easier explanations. Of course, I often ask for Korean translations as well when even the easier explanations or example sentences didn't help me. Otherwise, I keep trying to use English as much as I can, and you can use this method when you read the books or watch English videos. Okay, now let me show you how I really use ChatGPT to get incomprehensible input as a comprehensible input. So first of all, let's say this is my incomprehensible input that I want to study. Okay, so there's a groundswell. Okay, so here's the word, like there's a groundswell of interest in AI at the moment. So I don't know what is the where is it? So I don't exactly know what the groundswell is, but according to the context, I can just guess the groundswell is something like a place, like all the interest is like gathering together. It's like people are interested in AIs, but still I don't have a clear sense about what the groundswell is. So I can just like copy and paste it. I can just say without anything, just what is a groundswell? And you answer. So you clear as a rather metaphorical term. A rapid increase in public interest. These are very easier vocabularies we are usually knowing. So But still, it's not really clearly makes sense. Then what I can do is just, as I said, example sentence. This is so sure. And it's here is an example sentence. There was a groundswell of support for climate action. Oh, so groundswell of support for climate action after the youth protest spread worldwide. Okay, makes sense. And also, so like this. Oh, now I can get a sense of groundswell. What is groundswell is something like dragging people's interest, and also it can, if you just copy the whole text and spread it, it can even explain it more in detail based on the context and with some, translated version as well. So if you cannot understand it because it's too difficult, just say 한글로 다시 설명해 줄래? And you can explain it Korean. Groundswell is 바닥 큰 물결이 밀려오는 거리냐지만 okay. Institutions. Okay, so groundswell is more like a natural social phenomenon in Korean like this. So 바다에서 자연스럽게 커지는 흐름, 약간 파도 같은, like feel like that. So like there was a groundswell of support for climate action. 기후행동에 대한 대중의 지지가 급격히 확산되었다. There was a groundswell. There was a groundswell of interest in learning practical English because of the egg rice video like this. I hope so. So in that way we can learn English in English, but and using minimum amount of Koreans. So if you just try to learn in Korean from the beginning, I think just most of the time you use Korean. So I feel like just that's not English study, more like a English, just like analyzing English in Korean. So it isn't really helpful for your practical English improvement. So I highly recommend this method. But you have to remember, I'm not a perfect, exemplary student, and I'm also still on the English journey as you are. And so your advice and critical comments are always welcome. So that's it. Next time I'll show you how I practice output as well, and specifically how I improve my writing and speaking using my daily habits and my own strategies. If you are serious about improving your English, don't miss the next video. Hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you there. Bye. Thank you.